Just calms you right down. Take a breath. All right. Did you hear about the little boy with his first day in church? Anybody hear about the little boy with the first day in church? Well, this little boy, it was his first time in church with his papa. And he sat, and as he watched the ushers pass the basket around, and it got to him and his father, and his dad went to put some money in the basket. And the little boy proclaimed, "No, Dad, stop. I'm under 5. You don't have to pay." I thought that was cute because, you know, if you're a mom and you're at the movie theaters and you don't have any money, you're like, "Shh, you're 3 today." I don't have to do that anymore because Luke's still 3. Anyway, that was so beautiful, the reading, the poem. That was a collective poem? Wow. See how Spirit moves and works and just has its being with us. And that's what we're going to talk about today, the spiritual secret of supply. Now, a couple of things I want to talk about. So I went back to West Valley last weekend, and they were having their rummage sale. And Judy Baker, who is a practitioner of 35 plus years, one of my teachers, she said, "Hey, I've been thinking about you, and somebody brought in this big supply of books, and these two stood out to me, and your name came to me. So I know Spirit well enough to know that you probably need these books or could use them." And one of the little books was Supply by Joel Goldsmith. And this absolutely was designed for me. I love Joel Goldsmith, but it is the reminder that we move in the world of effects, and we forget that we are the supply, that everything within us and who we are. And so what I decided to do was order some of these, and at the end of the season, the end of December, Sudra and I are still working it out. We're going to put out a sign-up sheet, and we're going to have a workshop after one Sunday, and you'll get the little pamphlet. And we're due after Christmas, after you spend all of your effect. you need some upliftment. But it moved me so much. It touched me so much. It shifted my consciousness, expanded it, that I wanted to share it with you. I wrote the talk about it today. And you'll get the book. So the people who sign up first will get the book, and if there's any left over, you're welcome to them. They're our gift to you, the center's gift to you. And I can also provide the link. If you're busy that day and you don't get one, then I think they're like $6 or something like that. But profoundly moving, shift the awareness and how we think about not just money, but all of the effects of our lives. And we'll get back to that in a minute. If you have not taken your card at home, if you haven't been to the center and you would like to be a part of our stewardship campaign or a look at conscious giving, we can mail you one. You could just call and talk to Sudra and leave your name and address, and we'll be happy to mail it. There's a letter from me, a pledge card. The pledge card is to help us build our budget. So our goal of $100,000, which is still actually short of us running the center, but that's okay because I know the supply. I know in my heart that it is all available to us. It is actually already here. So I just wanted to remind you that we're going to run this through the end of December, and your contributions, no matter how big or small, count. I don't even care if you put 0 on the card. It's an exercise in faith and belief and showing that you're the supply. There's a lot of options on there, and it will help us build our budget and do fantastic things next year. So the board thanks you for that, and it will make our job a little bit easier. So far, we've handed out 41 envelopes. We've gotten 23 back with a total of $63,500 in pledges. I mean, that's amazing for 23 envelopes, cards. Yeah, that is supply. And it tells me that we could easily get to our goal and exceed that if we're at 23 cards, easily. So again, thank you from the bottom of my heart that you believe that you are the supply and that it's an exercise in that faith. All right, so we're looking forward to talking more about that later. But today we are talking about the spiritual secret of supply. Now, in this little book, it was an original, so I didn't want to write in it, but I had to because it was so good. But you could open it to anything and have something to read. And so I just feel called to just say, here's something that I wrote on the journal sheet. So the journal sheet is about this as well, so you can take the journal sheet with you. But we must begin our days with the inner reminder of our true identity. We must identify ourselves as spirit, as principle, as the law of life unto our affairs. It is a very necessary thing to remember that we have no needs. Isn't that interesting to contemplate? That we have no needs. Why would we have no needs when our mind tells us that we do? We are infinite, individual, spiritual consciousness embodying within ourselves the infinity of good. Therefore, we are that center, that point of God consciousness, which can feed 5,000 any day and every day. Not by using our bank accounts, but by using the infinity of good pouring through us, the same as it poured through the great teachers. We do not meet people with the idea of what we can get or what they can do for us. But we go out into life as the presence of God during the day, whether doing our housework, driving our cars, selling or buying. We must consciously remember that we are the law unto ourselves, unto the universe. And that means that we are the law of love unto all with whom we come in contact. We are the law. I contemplated this a lot, and Ernest Holmes agrees with Joel Goldsmith. He says that we must learn to trust the universe so that we are happy and prosperous and well. The quote emphasizes the trust in the infinite source rather than focusing solely on visible effects like what we have and what we don't have, what we want, what we think we can't get. Mirroring Goldsmith's message in this quote is aligning with the spiritual awareness of our true supply. And again, this little pamphlet, it touched me so much. What Goldsmith is teaching in this pamphlet is that we often think of supply, money, possessions, or material sources as merely effects, but not the supply themselves. True supply is spiritual awareness, the realization of our one infinite source. And when we align with this truth, the visible effects show up naturally. So awareness is a very key part of his teaching, that we have to become very aware and use our sense of gratitude that everything that is in our sphere that we see in our awareness is an effect of supply. And if you are the creator of your own life, then you are the supplier. How could God, the invisible presence, the creator, whatever you want to call it, create you in its in its image, meaning if it is supply, then you are supply. If it is intelligent, then you are intelligent. If it is giving, then you are giving. So there is no shortcoming in your nature other than what our lovely little minds like to conceptualize. And when we have a thought, a positive insight or spiritual epiphany, the mind comes zooming in right there to tear it down or tear it apart or make it different. And I'm telling you that now you are the supply. So one of the things that he talks about is that true supply is a spiritual awareness, the realization of our oneness with the infinite source. And when we align with this truth, the visible effects naturally follow. So if we get in if our consciousness is expanded enough to have the understanding that when we say we are supply, it's not the, how the mind will make it. It will say, I am supply. Well, we have to embody our consciousness. We need to contemplate and understand it to the point where we're not just thinking about it, but we come to the realization of the knowing of it. And this comes through direct experience. The knowing that you are supply comes from reading a little book that something in there just shifts that lens just ever so much to where it's something that you think about to something that you believe in to something that you know because you've had the direct experience or a realization or an opening of the heart. When we use our awareness, recognizing the source, one of the key ideas in the book is supply is not the money in your wallet or the resources you possess. Those are effects. Supply is the inner awareness of the infinite source that manifests these as effects. Now, I think this is, we're talking a lot about this because that is one of the things that struck me the most is when I sit down to manifest or if I sit down to, I feel very constipated, like, you try to make something happen. But the reality is the thing that's happened is already present. God is the answer, the question, God is the source and the supply and the effect, and how could it not give unto itself its own desire? So if you are God, and you are spirit, and you are, then it will always supply unto itself what you need. The mind will make a game out of that, because it likes to and is its nature to contemplate lack because it is its own preservation strategy. It is its own. It's designed to be your ego and your superhero. Like, don't do that. Don't go there. Stop. You don't have enough. Don't spend this. Don't spend that. So its nature is to keep you safe, and it is, safeness is an interesting thing because innately we do know what's safe, but we become so addicted to the concepts and the conditioning of our parents, don't do that. I find myself with Luke, right? Ooh, don't go on the table, get down. Yesterday he was sitting on his little picnic table and I was like, ooh, be careful, you're gonna, fell back, hit his head, cried, and Bill came running in and my instinct was, and if I could have reached him, I would have, but I just found myself frozen in time watching him fall backwards. And I wanted to say to him, see, you need to be careful, sit down, and build this sense of caution towards life. And something inside of me just paused and said, wow, are you okay? Yes, I'm okay. He was crying. And I said, way to go. You learned how to get up. You learned how to get up. You learned how to fall and get up. And instead of I did the mom thing. I coddled him and took care of him, made sure he was okay first. But what I want to teach them is to live big. The essence of this book is to live big. One of the analogies he uses in the book is if you take a fruit tree, and the fruit tree produces an orange. The orange isn't what produces more oranges, right? So God created you, and you manifest effects. The effects aren't making more effects. The supply that you are is. So when you realize your divine nature of supply, then you can learn that everything you need, everything you want is already here. And then the why worry comes up. Why worry if you have everything that you need? Why worry if you know that you're the supply? Why worry if everything that is unto itself is there for you to live the best life? Now, when life circumstances get difficult because that hasn't been our consciousness, when life is difficult because we weren't taught that and we didn't have maybe access to the teachings, or we're traversing a path of karma and in life in those difficulties, and we ask the question one day, why is life so hard? Then Spirit says, oh, let me show you. And it starts bringing to you spiritual truths. And as we focus on Prosperity Week, I thought originally this is why Spirit gave me this book, because I'm like, well, how can we do this? How can we do it better? How can we do it different? How can we look at it in a different way than me standing up here asking you for money and feeling like I need to give you something in return for that? And Spirit provided this book, and the book says, I want to stand up here and remind you that you are your supply. And to the degree that you believe it is to the degree that you're going to give. And I want to remind you that I understand the difficulty in filling out a card or making a promise, because the mind comes in and says, what if you can't keep it? What if you lose your job? What if what if something happens? And I say, what if? It becomes a test in faith. It becomes a test in the true understanding of the idea that you are the supply. And sometimes we have these difficult situations to show us our way back home to the truth, because our mind is taken down, we've been taken down a path or a consciousness or an avenue of moving away from our truth. And the further we get away from our truth, which is the mind, because you can never get away from what you are, by the way. You can never not be the truth, the light in the way. You can never hide your light behind a bushel, you can't, because it's you. It's your true identity. But the mind, because we've, for eons, given it so much awareness, so much attention, so much focus, that it then feeds the message to our body. We feel the fear in our stomach, and then it kind of cramps everything else that could have come after that. So I say, take it a little bit at a time. I really don't care if you give money, time, talent, because the treasure is yours. The treasure that you receive is gifts to us to bring you more stuff. But the true treasure is the thing that it proves to you about how you live your life and the things that you want and the things that you say you want. And how can you overcome all of the conditioning and concepts that have been instilled upon you if you don't directly experience or find your way to that you are the supply in the way. The old belief tells us God is the supply in the way, which puts God outside of us. But what we say here is, I am the supply of the way because I am the creator, I am the infinite, I am the intelligence, and because I am that, all things that I have created are available to me. So there is nothing in this universe that isn't already here. The desire comes up. We must align ourselves to it with the truth, and through our frequency, we become that. And once we become that, it shows up in our experience, and it proves to us that the law of love, the law of life, the law of principle, which you are, like Joel Goldsmith said, works. And then the mind quiets down a little bit. And then we start to be more free, more joyful, more giving, because the fear of putting our hand out disappears. The fear of I am not enough disappears. The fear of there isn't enough disappears. And what we learn is when I give, I receive, because it's a reciprocal universe, and that reciprocation is you. But if we're still looking and we're still seeking and we're still questioning, this can be quite confusing. So we're here to remind you of the truth. Giving and receiving are not about exchanging effects, but participating in the spiritual flow of supply. The act of giving aligns us with the infinite source that we are, and the effects of supply follow naturally. So he used this analogy of the tree, and that we can all see some type of life, some type of creative energy, some type of force is blossoming this tree. It blossoms the flowers that scent the air. Have you ever been by the orange tree and where we used to live before the house we're in now, there was an orange grove down the street, and you can always tell when they were blossoming because you could just smell it. It was so perfumed and beautiful, and you knew the fruits were coming. And so then the fruits come, and then the fruits are the effect of the supply that is the tree, right? And then you can see when the tree dies, the life force is left, and it produces no effect. The supply comes from the source that you are, the source that the tree is. So if that tree is source, how can you not be? How can we see the beauty of nature and the free-flowing evergreens and the mountainous terrains of Prescott and go out and sit in nature and commune and see life moving and breathing? And how can you not be a part of that? Because the mind, the identity of the mind, creates duplicity, and it automatically separates you from the idea that you hold for something else, but you don't hold it for yourself. We here are standing on the idea, on my mountain, on this land, this sacred place, that the idea of duplicity is gone. We are the supply. Therefore, the effect is already here. It doesn't matter if there is one person, 2 people, 5 people. All that we need, all that we desire is answered. All we have to do is want it. It's so important to know who you are. It's so important to know what you want. That God's good is your good and you ought to have it. Right? And you do. This is where Goldsmith talks about the practice of gratitude. I've been doing this for almost 3 months now. Before I get out of bed, I just go through a litany of things that pop into my mind before I put my feet on the floor, quietly in my mind, this sense of gratitude. And it just fills me up, and it helps me to get up in a better mood. It helps me to start the day with the kids, because that can be quite difficult when you have a 3-year-old screaming at you, "Not you!" But you remember that he's life too, and he's doing it his way. And gratitude gives you a whole new look, a whole new sense of well-being. It connects you to your truth until you embody it as you are, and the identity has left the building, and that all that remains is your highest and true self. And you know it because you can feel it. Because when we have a thought that creates negativity, we feel it somewhere in our body. Nervousness is felt here for me, and I can feel it, and then I know, oh, you're believing something that's not true about you. I'm using it as my guidance system. That's not true about you. It's not true just because someone said it. It's not true even if you say it. It might be part of your personality that you created as an ego preservation strategy, but your truth can wipe that clean. Your truth can come to the surface and in every interaction and reveal the magnetic truth of supply, to reveal the magnetic truth of love, to reveal the magnetic truth of principle, and that we move and have our being with that. So gratitude and trust. So when you have gratitude, something else comes, and then trust builds. Trust quiets that nagging little mind. Trust gives you the energy to move in a different direction. Trust says, hang on a little bit longer, it's going to be okay. Trust is, it's just around the corner. Trust is starting to hear that still small voice that doesn't always come in words. It comes in feelings. It comes in a book. It comes in a way. It comes by receiving a gift that says, hey, you just got to change the way you look at this. Leave the old ideas behind. That Tracey is dead. She does not live here anymore. The new identity is truth, spiritual truth. And that truth is flowing through you and out of your mouth in every moment. And you can hear and feel when you've taken the crooked road and then asking that divine essence that you are to put you back on the right road, and that all that you need comes to you. We don't even have to go out and look for it. We just have to desire it. We just have to stand on our mountain and claim it and just energetically align ourselves to it. And I'm talking anything, people, houses. I mean, if you want the material effect, that's great, because that's God too. Because how can an effective supply not be for you? It's time for the guilt of the old religion to be washed away, and for you to desire and want and have whatever you want. And what's funny is when you get to that and you understand the supply that you are, those material desires lessen. But we almost want to tell God, prove it to me, give me that house. I was walking around my kitchen when I was reading this book, and I thought, oh, Tracey, you're still doing the show me first. Show me and I'll believe you. I thought I'd gotten rid of that concept. But I was like, oh no, show me the money. Like, then we'll do the deed. No, we're doing the deed and the money will come. Tom has always told me, if you build it, it will come. I go, we're not a baseball stadium. Well, we are kind of, right? We are a place that knows our good. We are a place that we are good stewards of our money. We are improving and we are seeing, and now we're understanding that we are the supply. And the supply is you individually. And I'm not even talking about money. I'm talking about gifts of spirit. I'm talking about volunteering. I'm talking about cleaning. Whatever it is, you possess that in you to magnetize. And when that energy here grows and that confidence grows, it goes out of these walls and it attracts people to us. And we grow and we flourish because that's who we are. We are growth and we are flourishing and we are love. We're not trying to find it. It hasn't gone anywhere. It's not absent from you. It is right here. Leave the old idea behind. You are enough. Let's get over it. Let's move on. Everything we need is here. Everything we need is here. He's waving at me. Time's up. But that's okay, because you know what? Spirit has something to say, and I want to drive this point home to you. He'll talk to me about it in the car on the way home. But I am going to bring it to a close. I really want you to know that I invite you to the workshop, and I will be sure to announce it to give you plenty of time, because we're going to give you the book before the workshop so you can read it, and it's going to be a discussion, so that we can pull those old beliefs that you come to from reading the book to the surface so we can look at them. And then I could tell you, right? Because I can hear the crooked thought. God has, you can ask anybody who talks to me, I can hear the crooked thought. But I can only hear it because I've had them myself. But I know that there's nothing we need, but we accept. And by accepting, you receive. And Spirit has planted that on my heart to see the wholeness and the fullness of the community. And the Tracey that didn't see that is gone. Okay? It is gone. And if I come to you and seem worried, then you can remind me, isn't that Tracey gone? Yes, that Tracey's gone. She has left the building. Spirit is in her place. So come join me and know your truth, the power of who you are, the love that you are. And I celebrate that with you. And I know it for you because I am it. End of story. End of story. Drop the mic. Elvis has left the building. I love you guys so much. Thank you for entertaining this wonderful talk on supply today. And I just feel very strongly that knowing this truth, this idea of supply, that we can ground it in prayer quickly. Is that okay with you, Jackson? Otherwise, Bill's going to have a really long talk with me on the way home. I love you so much. I just know right here, right now, there is only one infinite intelligence, the producer of all effect. That effect itself has no meaning because it is given birth from the actual divine essence of who we are. It collectively creates to bring unto itself all that it needs to live a fruitful life. So when the mind worries, we just stand on this truth. We just know, and we call it forth, and we just leave every old idea behind. And with confidence and knowing and directive, we claim our good. And your good is my good. It is here right now. It is not absent from you. We energetically align to it. We start at the end by seeing it. We spend time with the vision. We draw it, we color it, we imagine it until it becomes nature to us, and then effect shows us that our work has been done and that it has always been there, and it just comes into our awareness energetically at the highest vibration possible. I see this as a full community. I see this as an overflowing community. I see this in your life and my life too. I know it. I feel it. I am it. I believe it. It is here. And I say thank you, Spirit, for these words. I say thank you, Spirit, for this energy. I say thank you, Spirit, for these words of wisdom. And I cast them into the law, which is me, which is you, knowing it cannot be returned void because it fulfills itself. And so it is.